Captain Lee Hyun stood on the bridge of his ship, watching the massive space station grow larger on the screen. The Soul's Pride was a small vessel compared to the alien ships around them. His crew of 30 humans looked nervous as they approached Vex Prime, the meeting place of the most powerful aliens in the galaxy. "Captain, we're getting signals from 6 different alien fleets," said Lieutenant Yu Jin from her position at the communications desk. "They want us to follow their escort ships." Lee nodded. He had expected this. The aliens always made sure to show their strength when humans came to visit. Through the large windows of his bridge, he could see the alien ships. They were huge, covered in weapons, and moved through space like hunting beasts. The Krillian ships looked like giant metal spears with red lights running along their sides. Each one was 3 times bigger than the Soul's Pride. The ethereal ships seemed to be made of pure light and energy, floating like ghosts in the darkness. The Nexus Federation vessels were perfect geometric shapes covered in sensors and communication arrays. The Sectoron ships moved like living creatures, their hulls shifting and changing color. The Depths Alliance brought their water-filled ships that looked like massive jellyfish floating through space. The luminous ships were pure energy contained in crystal shells that hurt to look at directly. "They're all here to remind us how small we are," thought Lee, but he kept his expression calm. Ambassador Park Mina joined him on the bridge. She was dressed in the simple blue uniform that Earth's diplomats wore to these meetings. Her face showed confidence, but Lee knew she was as worried as he was. "Any word from home?" she asked quietly. "Admiral Kim Dae sent his regards. He wishes us luck with the negotiations," Lee replied. Both of them knew it was more than luck they would need. The Soul's Pride docked at the space station, and soon Lee and Park found themselves walking through corridors filled with aliens. The Krillians stood over 2 meters tall with gray skin and 4 arms. Their eyes glowed red when they looked at the humans. The ethereals appeared as floating blue energy beings that spoke directly into people's minds. The other races were equally impressive and alien. The main council chamber was enormous. At the center sat a circular table with 7 chairs, but only 6 were filled. The empty chair was meant for humans, but it was smaller than the others, another reminder of how the aliens saw Earth's people. War Empress Zethkalar of the Krillians spoke first. Her voice was deep and filled with authority. "We have called this meeting to discuss the human problem. Your species has spread to 47 star systems. These systems contain resources that more advanced races need." Ambassador Park stood up. "Honored members of the Council, humans have lived peacefully in these systems for over 50 years. We have never attacked anyone. We only want to continue building our colonies and trading with other species." A sound that might have been laughter came from the ethereal representative. The voice appeared in everyone's mind. "Peaceful, because you lack the power to be otherwise. We have observed your military capabilities. 200 ships with primitive fusion engines and basic plasma weapons. You are like children playing with toys." Admiral Kim Dae had prepared Park for this moment. Earth's visible fleet was indeed small and appeared outdated. Every human ship that aliens had ever seen used old technology and carried weak weapons. This was exactly what Earth wanted them to think. "We understand your concerns," Park continued, "but surely there is room in the galaxy for all species to grow and prosper together." The Nexus Federation's mechanical voice cut through the air. "Analysis indicates human expansion rate will interfere with resource extraction operations in 15 systems within the next decade. This is unacceptable." Lee watched the aliens as they spoke. Each race saw humans as nothing more than an obstacle to be removed. The Sectorans buzzed among themselves with their hive mind communication. The Depths Alliance's representative floated in a tank of water, its tentacles moving in patterns that showed annoyance. The luminous being's crystal body glowed brighter, with what could only be impatience. War Empress Zethkalar stood up, her 4 arms crossed over her chest. "We have decided to be generous. Your species has 30 standard galactic cycles to evacuate all colonies and return to your home system. After that time, we will remove you by force." The chamber fell silent. Park looked at Lee, and for just a moment something passed between them. It was not fear or surrender. It was anticipation. 30 days is not enough time to evacuate 47 systems, Park protested. Millions of humans live on these worlds. They have built lives, families, entire cities. Then you should have considered that before expanding beyond your capabilities, the ethereal responded. Your primitive transportation systems are your own limitation, not our concern. Lee stepped forward. And if we refuse? War Empress Zethkalar's red eyes glowed brighter. Then we will demonstrate why your species should have remained in the small corner of space where you began. Your 200 ships will be destroyed and your colonies will be cleared anyway. The choice is yours, but the result will be the same. The meeting continued for several more hours, but the decision had been made. The aliens saw humans as weak and helpless. They had counted Earth's ships, analyzed their weapons, and found them wanting. In their minds, humanity was already defeated. As the Soul's Pride prepared to leave Vex Prime, Lee and Park stood together on the bridge one last time. Around them, alien ships maintained their formation, making sure the human vessel left without causing trouble. Send the message, Lee told Yu Jin. She activated a communication system that the aliens had never seen before. It appeared to be just another part of the ship's normal equipment. The message was short and seemed like routine status report to anyone listening. Package delivered. Weather looks clear for the next month. Family is looking forward to the reunion. Across the galaxy, in hidden bases that no alien had ever detected, other humans received this message. They understood what it really meant. The 30-day countdown had begun, but not the countdown the aliens expected. In his private quarters, Lee looked out at the stars and smiled for the first time in days. The galaxy had made its judgment about humanity. Soon they would learn how wrong they had been. The greatest deception in galactic history was about to be revealed, and the aliens who thought they knew everything about human capabilities were in for the surprise of their lives. Commander Choi Bin watched the Krillian war fleet through his ship's sensors, but they could not see him. The Busan Ghost was completely invisible to their detection systems. His ship hung in the dark space between two asteroids, recording everything. The aliens did. Their formation is the same as always, said his second officer, Lieutenant Park Soo. 3 lines of battle cruisers with dreadnoughts in the center. They never change their tactics. Choi smiled. Why would they? They think no one can challenge them. For 3 weeks, the Busan Ghost had followed different alien fleets across the galaxy. The Krillians, the Ethereals, the Nexus Federation, and all the others moved their ships openly, never hiding their movements or protecting their communications. They had no reason to worry about human spies. That was their first mistake. The aliens had been studying humanity for 50 years, but they only saw what humans wanted them to see. Every human ship that entered alien space was designed to look primitive and weak. Every human colony appeared to struggle with basic technology. Every human diplomat acted humble and afraid. It was all an act. Deep inside Earth's moon, Dr. Kang Soo sat in a command center that the aliens never knew existed. Hundreds of screens showed information from across the galaxy. Human agents reported from alien worlds. Hidden sensors tracked fleet movements. Secret factories worked day and night building weapons that would shock the galaxy. Status report, Dr. Kang said to his assistant. All stealth reconnaissance ships are in position. Commander Choi and 15 other invisible ships are tracking. The main alien battle groups, they have no idea we're watching them. Dr. Kang nodded. What about our industrial facilities? The shipyards behind Jupiter's moons have completed their final production run. The asteroid belt facilities finished last week. The deep space construction sites are powering down and preparing to move. For 30 years, humanity had been building in secret. While the aliens watched Earth's small, visible fleet, the real, human navy was taking shape in the darkness between worlds. Massive shipyards hid in the shadows of gas giant moons. Automated factories built weapons inside hollow asteroids. Construction sites floated in empty space far from any star, invisible to alien sensors. The technology came from many sources. Some was developed by human scientists working in hidden laboratories. Some was taken from alien ships that had crashed on human worlds over the decades. The aliens never knew these crashes had happened because humans cleaned up the evidence and told no one. But the most important source was something the aliens never suspected. Humans had been infiltrating alien society for 20 years. Captain. No Min commanded one of these infiltration missions. His ship, the Daegu Runner, looked like an old human cargo vessel to anyone watching. But hidden inside its cargo holds were stasis pods containing human agents with surgically altered appearances and cybernetic implants that let them pass as aliens. How many of our people are in position? No asked his intelligence officer. 47. Agents in Krillian Military Command, 23 in ethereal research facilities, 61 in Nexus Federation government offices, similar numbers in the other alien powers. These human spies had been sending information home for years. They knew alien military codes, ship designs, weapon capabilities, and strategic plans. They had access to alien computers and communication networks. When the aliens made decisions about humanity, humans often knew about those decisions before some aliens did. The aliens thought they were the teachers, and humans were the students. They had no idea that humans had been learning everything, and, preparing for this day, Lieutenant Yu Jin received the coded message from Captain Li Hyun and immediately began her work. From her communications post on a space station near Mars, she sent signals to every corner of human space. The messages seemed like normal business communications to anyone listening, but they carried the most important orders in human history. Thunder. Run authorization confirmed. All fleets prepare for Revelation Protocol. On hidden bases across 47 star systems, humans began the final preparations. Generals Han Sol and Bei Wan had spent years planning for this moment. Their ground forces were ready to deploy anywhere in the galaxy within hours. Their intelligence networks could disrupt alien communications and supply lines across multiple systems simultaneously. The aliens watching human colonies saw exactly what they expected to see. Frightened families loading their possessions onto transport ships, human defense forces retreating toward Earth, orbital installations being abandoned or destroyed by their own people. But for every human the aliens could see leaving, 10 more were moving into hidden positions. Transport ships that appeared to carry fleeing civilians actually held elite military units. Abandoned orbital stations contained hidden weapon systems. Destroyed facilities had explosive surprises waiting for alien occupation forces. Fleet Admiral Nam Gil stood on the bridge of humanity's greatest warship, the Taejongdae. The ship was hidden in the shadow of Jupiter's largest moon, along with thousands of other vessels that the aliens had never imagined existed. The Taejongdae was 3 times larger than the biggest Krillian dreadnought. Its hull was made from materials that human scientists had developed by studying crashed alien ships and improving on their designs. Its weapons could destroy entire fleets. Its shields could resist anything the aliens could throw at it. Admiral, all battle groups report ready, said Captain Shin Woo from his position at the tactical station. 15,000 ships standing by for your orders. Nam Gil looked at the display showing alien fleet positions across the galaxy. Thanks to Commander Choi and the other stealth ships, he knew exactly where every major alien force was located. Thanks to the human agents embedded in alien command structures, he knew their battle plans, their communication codes, and their weaknesses. How long until the ultimatum expires? He asked. 18 hours, sir. Nam Gil smiled. The aliens thought they were giving humanity 30 days to surrender. Instead, they had given humanity 30 days to prepare the greatest military surprise in galactic history. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon was not any single ship or technology. It was patience. While other species rushed into conflict or made quick decisions, humans planned for decades. They watched, learned, and prepared until they were ready to act. Tomorrow, the aliens would come to destroy what they thought was a helpless human civilization. Instead, they would face an enemy that had been studying them, copying their technology, and preparing for this war since the first day humans encountered alien life. The deception was almost complete. Soon, the galaxy would see humanity's true face. War Commander Geth Moeller felt confident as his fleet jumped into the Sol system. Behind him came 2,000 of the Krillian Empire's finest warships, their hulls gleaming red in the light of Earth's sun. Each ship carried enough firepower to level a city. and together they formed the most powerful battle fleet the Krillians had ever assembled. "Enemy contacts detected," reported his sensor officer. Approximately 200 human ships in defensive formation around their home world. Gethmolar's forearms crossed over his chest in satisfaction. The humans had gathered their pathetic fleet for one final, hopeless battle. It would be over quickly. "Open communications to the human vessels," he ordered. "I want to offer them one last chance to surrender before we destroy them." The main screen showed Captain Lee Hyun's face. The human looked calm, which surprised Gethmolar. Most species showed fear when facing overwhelming odds. "This is War Commander Gethmolar of the Krillian First Assault Fleet. You have reached the end of your ultimatum. Surrender now and your deaths will be quick." Lee Hyun smiled. "War Commander, I have a message for you from Fleet Admiral Nam Gil." "Who?" Gethmolar had never heard that name. Human military records showed that Admiral Kim Dae commanded their entire space force. He says, "Thank you for gathering all your ships in one place. It makes our job much easier." Before Gethmolar could ask what that meant, his sensor officer screamed in alarm. "Sir, new contacts appearing everywhere, thousands of them." Space around Earth erupted with light as human ships materialized from nowhere. They appeared in perfect formation, surrounding the Krillian fleet completely. But these were not the primitive vessels the aliens had expected to find. The human ships were enormous. The smallest destroyer was larger than most Krillian cruisers. Their hulls were made from some unknown metal that seemed to absorb light and reflect it in strange patterns. Weapons covered every surface, but they were unlike anything in the galactic databases. At the center of the human formation sat the largest warship Gethmolar had ever seen. The Taijongde stretched over a kilometer in length, its massive bulk bristling with weapon systems that hurt to look at directly. "Impossible," whispered Gethmolar. "Where did they come from? Our scouts reported only 200 ships." His communications officer was frantically trying to contact Krillian Command. "Sir, I'm getting reports from across the galaxy. Human fleets are appearing at every major system. Massive fleets, sir. Our intelligence was completely wrong." "Fleet." Admiral Nam Gil's voice came over the communication system. His tone was polite but firm. "War Commander Gethmolar, you are surrounded and outgunned. I suggest you withdraw your forces immediately." "You're bluffing," Gethmolar snarled. "These are just holograms or sensor ghosts. Humans don't have this kind of technology." Nam Gil's response was to order a demonstration. Captain Shin Woo, commanding the dreadnought Incheon Thunder, fired a single shot from his ship's main weapon. The projectile was invisible to normal sensors, but when it hit a Krillian battleship, the result was spectacular. The alien vessel simply disappeared. No explosion, no debris. One moment it was there, and the next moment there was empty space. "What was that?" Gethmolar demanded. "Weaponized dark matter," Nam Gil replied calmly. "We learned about it from studying your own research files. Amazing what you can accomplish when you have agents inside enemy research facilities." Gethmolar's red eyes grew wide with shock. "Agents? What agents?" "The ones who have been feeding us information for the past 20 years. Did you really think humans were too primitive to develop espionage capabilities? Every major decision your empire has made regarding humanity, we knew about in advance." Wing Commander Oh Young chose that moment to demonstrate humanity's fighter capabilities. Squadrons of small human ships suddenly appeared throughout the Krillian formation, moving so fast they seemed to teleport from place to place. "How are they doing that?" screamed the Krillian sensor officer. The human fighters were using micro-jump technology, making tiny faster-than-light jumps that allowed them to appear anywhere in the battle area instantly. They swarmed around the Krillian ships like angry insects, their weapons cutting through alien shields and armor as if they were made of paper. "Sir, we're losing ships faster than I can count them," reported the tactical officer. "Our weapons can't lock onto targets that keep disappearing and reappearing." Gethmolar watched in horror as his mighty fleet was torn apart. Human ships moved through his formations like ghosts, appearing just long enough to fire devastating weapons before vanishing again. Their shields absorbed Krillian fire without effort, and their return shots destroyed or disabled alien vessels with each hit. "Emergency retreat," he finally ordered. All ships jumped to hyperspace immediately, but even retreat was not simple. The humans had somehow disrupted the normal space-time fields around Earth. Krillian ships found their jump drives operating at reduced efficiency, making escape slow and difficult. Human vessels picked off the retreating aliens one by one as they struggled to build up enough speed to enter hyperspace. Of the 2,000 ships that had entered the Sol system, barely 800 escaped. The rest were destroyed, captured, or disabled, and left drifting in space. As Gethmolar's damaged flagship limped away from Earth, he sent urgent messages to every Krillian base and fleet. Warning to all units. Human military capability vastly exceeds intelligence estimates. They possess advanced stealth technology, energy weapons beyond our understanding, and faster-than-light tactical movement capabilities. Do not engage human forces without overwhelming numerical superiority. But his warnings came too late. Across the galaxy, human fleets were already engaging alien forces. The Ethereal Collective's research stations found themselves surrounded by human ships that had somehow bypassed all their detection systems. Nexus Federation industrial complexes were occupied by human ground forces that seemed to appear out of thin air. Sector and Hive worlds discovered that their communication networks had been infiltrated and were being used against them. The galaxy's most powerful civilizations suddenly realized they knew nothing about humanity's true capabilities. Every assumption they had made was wrong. Every piece of intelligence they had gathered was false. Every strategic plan they had developed was useless. In just one day, the balance of power in the galaxy shifted completely. The species that every alien race had dismissed as primitive and helpless revealed themselves to be the most advanced military force anyone had ever seen. But the biggest shock was yet to come. As alien governments tried to understand what had happened, they began to receive a simple message from Earth. It was being broadcast on every communication channel in the galaxy, in every known language. This is President Lee Ray of the United Human Republic. We did not start this conflict, but we are prepared to finish it. However, we prefer to offer you a different option. We invite all galactic civilizations to join us in preparing for a threat that makes our current disagreements seem small by comparison. Something is coming from outside our galaxy, and we will need to work together to survive it. The news of the Krillian defeat traveled across the galaxy faster than any ship could fly. Within hours, every major civilization knew that humanity had revealed military capabilities far beyond anything they had imagined. Emergency meetings were called on dozens of worlds as alien leaders tried to understand what had happened. On the water world of Aquatica Prime, the Depths Alliance Council met in emergency session. High Chancellor Refandra floated in the great assembly chamber, her tentacles writhing with agitation. How could our intelligence have been so wrong? She demanded. We counted their ships. We analyzed their weapons. Everything indicated they were technologically inferior. Admiral Tiderunner's response carried the weight of decades of military experience. Because they wanted us to see what we saw. Every human ship that entered our space, every human colony we observed, every human diplomat we met. It was all carefully planned to make us underestimate them. Similar conversations were happening across the galaxy. The Ethereal Collective's ancient archive minds, beings of pure thought that had existed for thousands of years, found themselves facing a completely new situation. Never before had they encountered a species capable of such large-scale deception. The Nexus Federation's Central Processing Unit worked frantically to reanalyze every piece of data they had ever collected about humans. Their conclusion was disturbing. Probability of successful military action against human forces now calculated at less than 12%. Previous estimates were based on deliberately false information. But the aliens' problems were just beginning. Captain No Min had been waiting for this moment for years. His exploration fleets, disguised as simple cargo vessels, had been establishing monitoring stations and hidden bases throughout alien space. Now those bases revealed themselves. Attention, Krillian Defense Command, came a broadcast from what had appeared to be an empty star system. This is Captain No Min of the Human Deep Space Fleet. Your supply convoys have been under our observation for 15 years. We know the location of every military depot and shipyard in your territory. The Krillians frantically searched their sensors and found human facilities where none had existed the day before, stations that could hold thousands of ships, sensor arrays that had been recording every movement in Krillian space, weapon platforms capable of destroying entire fleets. General Hansol chose that moment to demonstrate humanity's ground combat capabilities. Across 12 different worlds, human soldiers suddenly appeared in alien military installations. They moved like ghosts, their powered armor making them almost invisible to alien sensors. On the Sectoran hive world of Cluster 7, human troops materialized inside the main command center. The insect-like aliens found themselves facing soldiers in armor that adapted to any environment and weapons that could punch through their strongest defenses. "How did you get past our planetary shields?" demanded Hive Queen Zigtal. The human commander removed his helmet, revealing the face of a young man with calm eyes. "We've been studying your shield technology for 20 years. Our infiltration pods use modified versions of your own transport systems. Your shields let us through because they think we're authorized Sectoran vessels." Intelligence Director Bay, one had been preparing for this revelation for decades. Human agents embedded throughout alien society finally revealed themselves. Government officials who had seemed loyal to their own species for years suddenly announced they were working for Earth. Military officers with access to the highest level security codes began broadcasting those codes to human forces. Research. Scientists shared the secrets of alien technology with human intelligence services. The scope of human infiltration was staggering. On the ethereal homeworld, 3 members of their High Council of Minds were revealed to be humans using advanced cybernetic implants that allowed them to mimic ethereal thought patterns. In the Krillian Military Academy, the head instructor had been a human agent for over a decade, training alien officers while learning their tactics and weaknesses. "Impossible," transmitted the ethereal collective to Earth. "Our mind-reading abilities would have detected human thoughts. No organic brain can hide from ethereal perception." Intelligence Director Baywan's response came with detailed technical specifications. "Our agents use quantum-encrypted neural implants that generate false thought patterns. The technology was developed after we captured and studied one of your scout ships 30 years ago. We improved on your own designs." The revelation continued to spread. Every major alien civilization discovered that humans had been living among them, learning from them, and preparing for this day. The species they had dismissed as primitive had been running the most sophisticated espionage operation in galactic history. But perhaps the most shocking discovery came when the aliens tried to mount a coordinated response to the human threat. Communication networks that had operated reliably for centuries suddenly became unreliable. Military codes that had been secure for decades were compromised. Supply lines that had never been interrupted began experiencing mysterious problems. The Luminous Collective, beings of pure energy who communicated through quantum entanglement, found that their most secure communication channels had been infiltrated. "How is this possible?" they demanded. "Our quantum networks cannot be accessed by organic minds." The answer came from Captain Yu Jin, now revealed as the head of human electronic warfare capabilities. "We reverse-engineered your quantum communication, technology from equipment salvaged after a luminous ship crashed on one of our colonies 25 years ago. You never knew about the crash because we cleaned up all the evidence. We've been listening to your secure communications ever since." As reports poured in from across the galaxy, alien leaders began to realize the full scope of their miscalculation. Humanity had not just hidden their military strength. They had systematically penetrated every major civilization, learned their weaknesses, and prepared countermeasures for their technologies. The Nexus Federation's analysis became increasingly grim. Human technological capability appears to equal or exceed our own in most categories. Their strategic planning capabilities are unprecedented. Their intelligence-gathering operations have compromised every major government and military organization in known space. Emergency sessions were called on every major world. The Krillian War Council met in continuous session for 3 days. The ethereal collective's wisest minds pondered questions they had never needed to consider before. The Depths Alliance called for unity among all aquatic species. The Sectorans buzzed with confused communications as their hive minds tried to process the new reality. But the most important meeting was taking place on Vex Prime, where the Galactic Council had first dismissed humanity as a minor threat. Now the same chamber where they had given humans 30 days to evacuate their colonies was filled with desperate alien representatives trying to understand how to respond to a species that had outmaneuvered them completely. War Empress Zethkalar, her pride wounded and her fleet devastated, spoke for many when she said, "We have two choices. We can fight a war against an enemy who knows our every weakness, while we know almost nothing about their true capabilities. Or we can try to negotiate with beings who have been deceiving us for decades." The response came not from another alien, but from President Lee Ray of Earth. His image appeared on the council chamber's main screen without any invitation or authorization, proving that human agents had penetrated even this most secure location. "Honored. Members of the council," he said with the same polite tone that human diplomats had always used, "I believe there is a third option that none of you have considered yet." President Lee Ray's image filled the council chamber screen as alien leaders stared in shock. The fact that he could broadcast directly into their most secure meeting place proved that human capabilities went far beyond anything they had imagined. "How? Did you penetrate our communication systems?" demanded War Empress Zethkalar, her forearms trembling with rage and fear. Lee Ray's expression remained calm and friendly. "The same way we've been doing everything else for the past 30 years. We learned from you, improved on your technology, and prepared for this moment." He gestured to someone off-screen, and the display changed to show images from across the galaxy. Human ships were visible in orbit around dozens of alien worlds, but they were not attacking. Instead, they seemed to be waiting. "I want to address the question that all of you are asking," Lee continued. "Why did we do this? Why did we spend decades pretending to be weak while building the most powerful military force in the galaxy?" The ethereal representative's voice appeared in everyone's mind. "Obviously to conquer us, to dominate the galaxy as we have dominated you." "No," Lee said simply. "If we wanted conquest, we would have attacked without warning. We would have destroyed your governments and occupied your worlds. Instead, we revealed our capabilities in response to your ultimatum. We defended ourselves, but we have not invaded anyone." Admiral Tidrunner of the Depths Alliance spoke up. "Then what do you want? What is the purpose of this elaborate deception?" The answer came from Fleet Admiral Nam Gil, whose image appeared beside the president's. "We wanted respect. For 50 years we watched as your civilizations expanded across the galaxy, taking resources and dismissing younger species. We saw how you treated races that you considered inferior. We decided that we would never allow ourselves to be in that position. But there is something else," Lee added, "something that makes our past conflicts seem small and unimportant." The display changed again, showing images from deep space monitoring stations. The pictures showed formations of ships unlike anything any galactic species had ever seen. They were huge, dark, and moved in patterns that suggested intelligence, but not any form of intelligence the galaxy recognized. "Our deep space monitoring networks have detected these vessels at the edge of the galaxy," Lee explained. "They are not from any known species. Our analysis suggests they come from outside our galaxy entirely." Diplomatic Corps Chief Park Jun appeared on screen to provide additional details. "We estimate their fleet strength at over 1 million vessels. Each ship is larger than our biggest dreadnoughts. They are moving toward the Galactic Core, destroying or absorbing everything in their path." The council chamber fell silent. Even the ethereal collective beings who rarely showed emotion radiated shock and fear. "When will they arrive?" asked the Nexus Federation representative, its mechanical voice unusually quiet. "Our calculations suggest they will reach the outer systems in 18 months, Park replied. "The core worlds, including all of your home systems, will be reached within 5 years." War Empress Zethkalar was the first to understand the implications. "You're saying that everything we've been fighting about, territory, resources, dominance, none of it matters if these beings destroy our entire galaxy?" "Exactly," Lee confirmed. "This is why we revealed ourselves now. We could have continued hiding, building our strength in secret while you remained unaware of the coming threat. But we need all of us working together if we're going to survive. What's coming? The implications were staggering. The alien leaders began to realize that humanity had not just been preparing for war against the galactic powers. They had been preparing for war against something far worse. Admiral Kim Dae, who had been thought to command humanity's entire military, appeared on screen with a surprising revelation. I command what we call the Mercy Fleet. These are ships, designed specifically for evacuation, rescue, and humanitarian operations. We built them because we knew that when the real threat arrived, many worlds would need to be evacuated quickly. You built rescue ships before you even revealed your military capability, observed the Sectoran representative. You were planning to save us even while we threatened to destroy you. Lee nodded. That's what we do. We plan ahead. While your species think in terms of immediate threats and quick solutions, we think in terms of decades and centuries. We saw this coming long before any of you did. Captain Lee Hyun, the diplomat who had first faced the Council's ultimatum, now spoke as humanity's military liaison. We offer you a choice. We can continue fighting each other while the real enemy approaches, weakening all of us. Or we can work together, combining our technologies and capabilities to face this threat as allies. What exactly are you proposing? Asked High Chancellor Reef Andra of the Depths Alliance. The answer came from multiple human leaders speaking in sequence. Complete technology sharing, said Dr. Kang Su. We provide you with our advanced weapons, shields, and stealth systems. You provide us with your unique capabilities in return. Joint Military Command, added Fleet Admiral Nam Gil. Human strategic planning combined with alien tactical specializations and numerical strength. Coordinated industrial production, continued General Han Sol. Your manufacturing capabilities combined with our advanced designs to produce the largest fleet in galactic history. And most importantly, concluded President Lee, formal recognition that this galaxy belongs to all of us equally. No more dominant species. No more inferior races. We face this threat as equals, or we face it separately and die. The aliens looked at each other, trying to process this completely unexpected turn of events. They had come to this meeting expecting to discuss the human threat. Instead, they were being offered partnership against an enemy none of them could face alone. The Ethereal Collective was the first to respond. Your proposal has merit, but how do we know we can trust beings who have been deceiving us for decades? Captain No Min answered by transmitting detailed technical specifications for human stealth technology. Because we're giving you the tools to watch us just as closely as we've been watching you. Complete transparency from this point forward. Intelligence Director Bei Wan added, our agents embedded in your societies will reveal their identities and begin working openly as human liaisons. No more secrets. No more hidden operations. One by one, the alien representatives began to see the logic in humanity's proposal. The Krillians had always respected strength, and humans had proven their strength. The Ethereals valued long-term thinking, and humans had demonstrated planning capabilities that exceeded even their own. The other species each found reasons to consider the human offer. If we do this, War Empress Zeth Kalar said slowly, everything changes. The entire structure of galactic civilization would be rebuilt. Yes, Lee agreed. It would. The question is whether you want to rebuild it together, or watch it be destroyed by enemies we cannot defeat alone. The vote, when it came, was unanimous. For the first time in galactic history, all major species agreed to work together as equals. Captain Lee Hyun, who had once sat in the smallest chair at this same table, now helped establish the new galactic Council of 7 Races. The humans who had been dismissed as primitive now found themselves partners in the greatest undertaking in galactic history. As the meeting ended and plans began for humanity's greatest challenge yet, Lee looked out at the stars and smiled. The galaxy had learned that humanity's true strength was not their hidden fleet or advanced technology. It was their ability to see beyond immediate conflicts to longer-term threats, and their willingness to turn former enemies into allies when survival was at stake. The real war was just beginning, but for the first time, the galaxy would face it united.